So, I was looking... So, here's something that happened to me today. While I was doing my thing at work... I, stumbled across a video by the Geek Critique, that was talking about the video was titled, quote, "The Growing Pains of the 6th Generation of Gaming." So, it's a me, Waluigi, on the PS157. Yes. So, here's the thing. When he put down that video, I noticed, yeah, hold on. Because earlier in the year, I had noticed that the PlayStation 2, it says now on the Wikipedia page. Here, you know what? I'm gonna get right into it. Let me just quickly window capture real quick. Capture automatique. There you go. And, oh dear, what the hell has happened here? What the hell is going on here? There we go. Okay, so hear me out, because, something ain't right. Something ain't sitting with me well. Something isn't sitting with me well. So here, on the Wikipedia page, for the best-selling game consoles, it says here, 160 million for the PlayStation 2. That's weird. That's weird, because I recall, for at least since 2016, for the past 10 years, it has constantly said that the PlayStation 2 has sold 155 million units. Now, hold on. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, Soul, well, what do you mean? What's going on here? Okay, we're gonna plug that into the Wayback Machine. But firstly, we need to see what how does Wikipedia define what a sale looks like? How does Wikipedia define what a sale looks like? Because I'm positive that the PlayStation 2 has sold 155 million units, and it has said that for the past 10 years, since 2016, because I am a fucking loser geek. I am a loser geek who, when I was bored in school, would look at the Wikipedia pages for, like, flags for video game consoles. I would come to this page often. In high school, this said 155 million units, and it said that for a good 3 years in a row. And then it said 155 million units, like, throughout the early 2020s. Throughout the early 2020s, it kept saying 155 million units, but now it's saying 160 million units. Where did this extra 5 million come from? Because now that the Nintendo Switch says 156 million, now all of a sudden the PS2 has an extra 5 million? Where did this 5 million come from? Why, this doesn't make any sense. What has happened? Okay. So, we're gonna do a little bit of investigative journalism here. So firstly, how would this Wikipedia page define what how does it define what a video game console has been sold like? Let's see here. The following table contains video game consoles that have sold at least 1 million units worldwide, either through to consumers or inside retail channels. Each console includes sales from every iteration unless otherwise noted. Okay, so how did it... Okay, references, notes, references. Okay, we have our references. Bibliography. Okay, cool. So that's how it defines it. Okay. Either through to consumers or inside retail channels. Okay, cool. So, let's have a look here. So, 160 million units. What is the reference here? From Sony themselves. So, the PlayStation 2, more than 160 million as of March 31st, 2012? What the fuck? That's not true. What the hell? Cause it said 155 million units consistently. 155 million units consistently. Okay, here we go. We're gonna plug this in. We're gonna plug this into the Wayback Machine, and we're gonna go take a look. Starting with, all right, January 30th. Let's go take a look. January 30th, 2016. Let's take a look here. Okay, this is what it looked like. List of best-selling games. Video game console is a box like, okay, we already know what a video game is. PlayStation 2, 155 million units. What is this reference? What? Hold on. Note 1 is the... Okay, Note 1. Where is the note? Okay, go away. Note 1. Sony stopped divulging individual platform sales starting with 2012 fiscal reports and continues to sporadically. PlayStation 2, 138 million units sold as of Sony's first fiscal year quarter ending in June 2009. So, okay, Sony sold 60.2 million. Okay, until March 31st, 2012. It was discontinued worldwide on January 4th, 2013. Okay, so 2013 was the official year that it was discontinued. I was right. It's officially discontinued in 2013. This is from 2016. And look where it's stated here. From 2016. This is 3 years out from its discontinuation. 155 million units sold. Okay, so there it is. But that's not enough. That's not enough information, you see. That's not enough information. Going back by 2016, that doesn't mean anything. So implementations, it looks like it's gained more traction from between 2022, late 2022, early 2023. So let's check that out. Let's just pick a random date. Okay, 2 snapshots, 3 snapshots in blue. All right. Let's try November 9th, because that has the most amount of appearances. Let's take a look. The most amount of snapshots. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is from 2021. This is from okay, hold on. Where are we right now? We are on November 9th, 2022. 155 million units sold. Okay, it still says 155 million units sold. When does that change? We need to figure that out. So, okay, still November 10th. That's not okay, this is too... It's going to be too slow to go individually. We need to figure this out. So let's try early 2023. Where is the most amount? 7. 8 snapshots. Let's take a quick peek here. The most amount of, Okay, can you lock the fuck in? There we go. It's going in now. Okay, so we've had some screenshots here. 155 million units as of March 8th, 2023. Okay, so that has remained unchanged. What happened? Then? Hold on. Was it 2025 when the change was made? October 25th, 2025. 160 million units all of a sudden. Where is the reference? Okay. Here, we'll close that. Okay. PlayStation 2, 2000. PlayStation 2, 30 years of play. Okay. So this is where... Okay, so we're tracing back to PlayStation's official website. So where does it... But why... Okay, pause. Okay, Japanese release, March 4th, October... Yeah. Okay. Consoles sold worldwide since 2000. 160 million. What? Why? What? The what? Okay, hang on. So Sony is claiming this here, but where the fuck did this... Okay, but where the fuck did this... when the fuck did this change start? Right about here, it looks like. So... okay, October 24th. October 24th, 2025. Yeah, it still says 160 million units. When did that change, though? When did we... okay, that is weird. All of a sudden, there was the change last year. The change happened last year, and nobody noticed. Let's try January 18th, 2025. January 18th, 2025. 160 million units. Okay, so the change didn't... that implies that the change didn't happen in 2025. It must have happened in late 2024. But when? November... okay, let's try November 19th, 2024. No, okay, that's 155 million units. So we're going to have to go day by date. Let's try December 18th, December 18th, 2024. December 18th, 2024. 160 million units. Okay, so it's somewhere in between these dates. So... let's try... we're going to be going by the dates at this point. Brain.exe has left the chat. Okay, 100... it says 155 million here on November 24th, 2024. Does it still say the next day? Yes. Still says the next day. Brain.exe. No. Okay. There it is. We found the date. We found the date. November 28th, 2024. Or no. 26th, 2024? Yes. November 26th, 2024. Or what? Try that. Okay. 160 million. Okay, so it happened somewhere between November 28th, 2024, and so they just added an extra... oh, no, that's this website. It states 160 million units, but where did that come from? Where are the statistics? Why? Where did they just pull... I mean, this is Sony itself, yes, but, like, where did they... I'm so tired I read Game Boy and went, that's a new sexuality, I should look into it. Honestly valid. Okay, but, like, what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on here? Why does this say... where did this... it was suddenly changed that now there's 160 million... Sony now claims that there are 160 million PS2s that were sold. But how is that possible? They stopped counting. They discontinued the PlayStation 2 in 2013, and it stayed as 155 million units. It stayed at 155 million units all that whole time. Where did this 5 million unit come from? How did Sony just all of a sudden restart? Okay, hold on. Did Sony reissue the PS2? Did they reissue the PS2? PlayStation 2 did not... 2013. Okay, that's the AI. I don't trust that. That's not a real thing. Okay. Is officially back from the dead, and fans are thrilled. Really? What does... okay, Gaming Bible. I don't... okay, hold on. June 2024. This is November 2024. Okay, hold on. Released way back in 2000 as blah blah blah. The PlayStation 2 is back. Well, kind of, and the fans are thrilled. Console released by Sony. The console blah blah blah. Okay, what's the details? After being replaced by the PS3 2006, PS2 should be quickly forgot about. Still lament over the classic consoles. Blah 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 blah. Fans were thrilled, revealed that it would be bringing some PlayStation classics back for PlayStation Plus subscribers. Wait. But that's just the reissue of games. That's the reissue of PlayStation 2 games. That's a reissue of PlayStation 2 games. That doesn't count towards total sales. That does not count towards total sales, because like not even Nintendo like the hold on. The NES Classic Edition does not count as the NES, so it can't be considered. So it can't be considered. It can't contribute to the NES sales. It can't contribute to the NES sales. That was 61 million units cut off in 1980. That was cut off in like 1993, 1994, around that time. Like that doesn't count. So where did this, that Sony just started claiming that there were 160 million units as of March 31st, 2021. But if we look back for the past 10 years or so, for the past 10 years, or even since the PS2 was discontinued, it says that there were 155 million units sold, but where did these 5 million units come from? This is what is happening. Why did Sony just start claiming that they sold more than they actually did? Like, was it because the Nintendo Switch was about to beat them in the best-selling game? Because, like, if we look back, 156 million units sold. That's 1 million more than the PS2. So, if this had stayed the same and Sony didn't just declare 160 million PS2 sold, Nintendo Switch would have overtaken Sony as the #1 most sold video game console of all time. But now there's these 5 million units of PS2 sold. All of a sudden, they just came into existence like 13 years after the PS2 was discontinued. So where the fuck did these 5 million units come from? Did they just exist? Did Sony just do a black book of communism and throw in an extra 5 million here and there just to try to get the numbers up? Like, what is going on here? Where did these 5 million units come from? You know what? Honestly, so PlayStation and Sony themselves are a company that are incredibly fucking vain. So, like, any sort of damage to their ego is like a is like a shotgun blast to their chest. Was there any major events that could have had an effect on it? Okay, but good question. That's a good question. Because we need to do a bit. That's the thing, is that you need to investigate this further, because this doesn't make any sense. I feel like Markiplier back in in the early 2020s saying, I don't trust honey. There's something strange about this. There's that part makes it the customer is getting the coupons and the % off. That makes sense. But where's all this money coming from? I feel like fucking Markiplier being suspicious about honey. This is strange. Where did these 5 million units come from? Was there any major events that could have had an effect on it? Good question. So, if we look back at our original question, because the only way for that to count towards the total of best-selling units, well, then that would mean that Sony would have had to reissue the PS2 or at some point. Or that means that there were more than they initially thought. But then why did they take so long to come out? Why did they take so long to come out with that information? Why is it that this information only came out why did this information only come out when the Nintendo Switch was 156 million units, right about to beat the PlayStation 2 as the most sold units. It doesn't make any sense. It seems a bit too coincidental. I feel like I need to wear fucking tinfoil hat right now. I feel like I'm going fucking crazy. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. No, but I don't know. It's lining up a bit too well. It's lining up a bit too well. Where did all these because here's the thing we need to consider is that the PlayStation 2 was discontinued in 2013. The Nintendo Switch is still being sold on the market to this very day. So it makes sense why the Nintendo Switch numbers would go up, but it doesn't make sense why the PlayStation 2 numbers would go up. Like, where did these 5 million PS2s come from? Where did these 5 million PS2s come from? So the only way that would have to work is if Sony reissued the PS2. Like, in the same way as in, like, hey, we're selling the PlayStation 2 in and of itself as if like we did back in 2000. We are going to be selling PlayStation 2 games in their original box. We're going to be doing all this and this. But here's the thing, is that no company has ever done that. No company has ever reissued their game consoles like that. Did they come from Make-A-Wish? I don't know. See, that's the thing. I am so confused. Where did this come from? I feel like I need... This is strange. Like, where did this come from? And how has it slipped under the radar? Because here's the other thing. PlayStation themselves confirm that there were more than 160 million as of March 31st, 2021. March 31st, 2021. That is what they are claiming. However, if we look back here to, let's go to, March 31st, 2021. Where is it on Wikipedia? Wait, did you say 2021? You said 2012. I have dyscalculia. March 31st, 2012. We're going to go right back here and we're going to see what did the Wikipedia article say at that time? March 31st. Okay, March 31st. That's too slow. It's too slow. We're going to have to... Okay, we're going to have to go back to the main thing. Okay, best-selling game consoles of all time. August. Okay, no. March 31st, 2012 is what they said. March 31st, 2012. Alright, March 31st, 2012, they said. March 31st. There were no pictures uploaded. There were no snapshots uploaded there. But let's see what it looks like anyway. That kind of doesn't really help us. But, okay, there's one picture here. 154 million units sold. It makes sense why this would jump up a little bit. Because at that time, the PlayStation 2 was still being sold, right? That would make sense. So if we go to 2013, that's when it's officially discontinued, right? That's when it's officially discontinued. Let's try right in the middle, July 7th, 2013. Okay, can you do it, please? Thank you. So what the heck? What is going on here? 155 million units. There it is. It stayed there. So at earliest, 2013, it has remained as 155 million units from 2013 to 2024. That is 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. That's 11 years. 11 years. Or no. Yeah, that's 11 years since it was discontinued, and now all of a sudden there are an extra 5 million somewhere. Where did these come from? I don't understand this. Where the fuck? Why does it claim 160 million? When it was 155 million for the past 11 years. Sony, I think, is pulling this number out of their ass because they can't handle the idea that Nintendo has beat them in terms of the most sold video game console of all time. Because Sony is a company that's so fucking vain. That's so fucking vain that, like, where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, but you see what I'm saying, though, right? I'm not... You understand what I'm saying, though. You also understand that this is a little strange, right? I feel like I'm going fucking crazy. I'm spinning all over my keyboard. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. You understand me, though, right? You understand that this is strange, isn't it? You understand that this is strange, that where did these 5 million units come from when the console has I'd understand if I remembered what the problem was. Okay, here, sorry, I'm rambling and ranting. So, according to Wikipedia, this is, okay, when was the PS2 discontinued? When was the PS2 discontinued? As I said, Brain has left in chat. Okay, what was the PS2 discontinued? The PS2 was discontinued in January 4th, 2013. Where are we? We are July 7th, 2013. So that's a few months after it was sold. 155 million units. And it stayed as 155 million units. It stayed as 155 million units up until... Here, we're gonna play it back in. We're gonna play it back in. Best-selling game consoles. We're gonna play it back in, and it's going to... Okay, you know what? Here. Way back. I can't spell. Machine. Wayback Machine. We're going back into the Wayback Machine. So, alright, we're going to here. So then, where were we? It was 24th of November... It was November 27th, I think? Was it? November 27th? Let's see. Was it November 27th? Or was it November 26th? No, it wasn't the 26th either. Was it the 25th? November 25th. Because, okay, here. 155 million. Okay, so it was November 26th. So, November 26th, 2024. November 26th, 2024. Several years after... Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, but like... So, from July 7th, 2013... A few months after the PlayStation 2 was officially discontinued, all the way up until November 26, 2024, this had said that the PlayStation 2 sold 155 million units. What is the reference? Okay, first of all, what is the reference for this? The references for 155 million units is this. What is this? Page not found. Oh dear. Okay, that's not important though. The reference is to launch the new PlayStation. Okay, but this is an earlier release of this thing, because this is just hot off the presses that it's done. So the updates haven't okay, the update hasn't come in yet, so maybe it's somewhere further down the line. Okay, hold on. We need okay, Wayback Machine. If we take the Wayback Machine, we go back, and then we go here. So that we were at July 7th, 2013. So let's say, yeah, 6 years. We're going to go 3 years later. 3 years later. And it's still going to say 155 million units. We'll go to June 2nd. We're going to go June 2nd, 2016. So the note here. All right. So here's the note. Here's the note for that particular bit. It says, oh geez, oh god, what happened? Oh god, where's my computer? Oh, my computer just died. Wait, what the fuck? I can't... Did my monitor get unplugged? Hold on. My monitor. What the hell is happening to my monitor? Why is it all... Oh, Jesus, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? My monitor just unplugged all of a sudden. What the hell? Okay, but how goes the deep dive? We are discovering things. We are discovering, or at the very least, we are coming to a realization that, hang on, it is entirely possible, because for the past 13 years, it had said that the PlayStation 2 had sold 155 million units. And then one day, on November 28th, 2024, that was changed and updated. But that shouldn't be possible because the PS2 was discontinued in 2013, meaning that they stopped counting how many PlayStations they had sold. But that doesn't make any sense why it would suddenly jump up like that. Where did these units come from? Oh dear. Okay, that's the... Oh god. Oh god. Okay, how did... Oh jeez. Okay, Asus, there we go. Monitor, please. Monitor, please. Why? Okay. Did it turn off? Hold on, did I accidentally turn off my monitor? I don't know what happened. What's going on with my monitor? Why is it not displaying? Why is it not displaying? What is going on here? Something's wrong with my monitor. It's hot. It's hot as fuck in here. Hold on. Okay, which one is it? Is it this? Is this plugged into a... Hold on, I'm doing some technical difficulties here. Okay, it's this cable here. Okay, something's going on with my cable. I need to fix it real quick. What is going on here? Okay, did that plug it in? Okay, good. There we go. All right, my monitor is fixed. I just needed to plug it into a different outlet, into a different source. Yeah, my computer does that sometimes. Okay, missed. So here's the thing. Here's what we're discovering so far. Here's what we're figuring out. It seems very likely that Sony just pulled these 5 million console sales of the PlayStation 2 out of their ass. That's what it looks like right now. There we go. Everything is fixed. Okay, but look. Hold on. And this isn't me being a cringe Nintendo fan. What the fuck? Ah, geez. Did my VTube Studio crash as well? Oh my god. I'm being DDoS attacked. I'm being DDoS attacked for all this. I think Sony is sending me a DDoS attack. Oh my god. Why is it so small? Why is VTube Studio so small? What the fuck? Okay. Oh my god. Okay, no. We're good. But you understand what I'm saying though, right? My favorite console would have had to have been would have to be the dead pigeon attached to a car battery. Okay, but guys, you understand what's going on here, right? You understand where I'm coming from. Hold on, let me read this. Sony stopped divulging individual platform sales starting with 2012 fiscal reports and continues to sporadically. PlayStation 2, 138 million units sold as of Sony's first fiscal quarter ending June 2009, QI FY 2009. Sony sold 16.2 million units from Q2 FY 2009 until March 31st, 2012. It was discontinued worldwide on January 4th, 2013. PlayStation 3, A Sony press release reported 80 million sold as of November 2nd, 2013. 3.4 million were shipped in 2014 and 0.4 million in the first quarter of 2015. PlayStation Portable. Okay, that's not important. That's talking about the PlayStation Portable. That's not what we're focused on here. Okay, so hold on. So, okay, here we have our up-to-date. This is our up-to-date one. This is our up-to-date, this is November 4th, 2024. Okay, that's not, but look. And we need to get back to, okay, Wayback Machine. So this is as of today. So this is for as of today. Actually, no, we don't need the Wayback Machines at all. We just need to look at it. Here. Okay, so what is your reference from today? Business sales and data. Right, that's citing... Okay, yeah, so it's citing this website. So it's just claiming 160 million units as of March 31st, 2021. But if we look past March 31st, 2021, in 2016, it says 155 million units sold. And then the note is from... Okay, the note is from here. Where did these 5 million PS2s come from? Where did these 5 million PS2s come from? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. What is going on? I'm beginning to think that Sony pulled this number, 160 million units, out of their ass because they couldn't stand to see Nintendo beat them at they couldn't stand to see Nintendo, their arch rival who burned them back during the early 90s, see them beat them by 1 million units. Honestly, PlayStation itself as a brand is incredibly vain in its entirety. So I wouldn't put it past them to do this type of thing. And that's not me being a Nintendo fan. Okay, maybe a little bit, maybe a tiny bit, but like, come on. Even if it was like Xbox or something, or PlayStation, if it was Xbox doing this, I would still be like, hey, what the hell? This is a bit weird. Where's this coming from? Like, even if it was anything else. This is not just me being a Nintendo fanboy at heart. This is me, like figuring out what the hell is going on here. This doesn't make any sense. There is inconsistencies. There is lying here. What is going on? This is strange. This is a bit weird. But you understand what is happening, right? You understand why I'm weirded out by this. You understand where the information doesn't add up. Sony is just claiming 160 million units out of nowhere. This doesn't make any sense. What the fuck? What is happening? Right?